Welcome back everyone to the channel. Today we're continuing our FIFA World Cup round of 32 prediction series with an exciting clash between Norway and Ivory Coast. Norway enter this match with arguably the most dangerous striker in world football, Erling Haaland, while Ivory Coast arrives full of confidence after reaching the World Cup knockout stage for the first time in their history. So, can Haaland fire Norway into the round of 16 or will Ivory Coast continue their impressive run? Let's break it all down. Let's begin with Norway. They're expected to line up in either a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, playing an aggressive but structured attacking style. Everything revolves around Martin Odegaard, whose creativity and vision allows Norway to control possession and create chances. Up front, Erling Haaland gives them something few teams have, a striker who can score from almost any situation. Norway don't need a dominant match to win it because Haaland can punish even the smallest mistakes. Norway's biggest strength is obvious. They have one of the best strikers in the world, one of the Premier League's best creators, and a midfield capable of progressing the ball quickly. But they're far from perfect. Defensively, they're vulnerable in transition, especially when Odegaard pushes high up the pitch. Their backline isn't at the same level as their attack, and against fast teams, those weaknesses can be exposed. Looking at Ivory Coast, their biggest strength is their athleticism and physicality. They defend aggressively, complete well in duels, and can be dangerous when they win the ball and attack quickly. Players like Nicolas Pepe and Amad Diallo have the pace to hurt teams on the break, while Frank Kessie and Sangare provide strength and experience in midfield. Set pieces are also one of their biggest weapons. However, Ivory Coast also has some clear problems. They struggle to create chances against organized defenses and often rely on moments of individual brilliance rather than consistent attacking patterns. Their passing can become sloppy under pressure, and they don't always control games through possession. Against stronger teams, they can spend long periods defending, which puts extra pressure on their backline. This match comes down to whether Norway can make their quality count. If Odegaard controls midfield and Haaland gets the service, Norway should create enough chances to win. But if Ivory Coast turns this into a physical, stop-start game and forces Norway into mistakes, they have enough pace on the counterattack to punish them. Overall, I'm predicting a 2-1 victory for Norway. I think this will be one of the closest matches of the round of 32. Ivory Coast has the physicality and defensive structure to frustrate Norway, and I expect them to create chances on the counterattack. However, I believe the quality of Martin Odegaard and the finishing ability of Erling Haaland will ultimately make the difference. Norway may not dominate the entire match, but they have the players who can decide the games with a single moment of brilliance. I expect Ivory Coast to push them all the way, but Norway should just edge it. Ivory Coast are expected to line up in a 4-4-2 formation. Fofana starts in goal behind a defense of Doué, Diomande, Kosunu, and Konan. In midfield, Sangare anchors the midfield alongside Kessie, Amad Diallo, and Diomande. Up front, Nicolas Pepe and Boni provide pace, creativity, and direct attacking threat. The key player for Ivory Coast is Nicolas Pepe. His pace, dribbling, and ability to create chances in one-on-one situations make him one of their biggest attacking threats. Another player to watch is Amad Diallo, whose quick feet, creativity, and acceleration can cause serious problems on the counterattack. Norway and Ivory Coast have never faced each other in the senior international match. That means there is no head-to-head history to analyze, making this a completely fresh and unpredictable World Cup encounter. Overall, I'm predicting a 2-1 victory for Norway. I think this will be one of the closest matches of the round of 32. Ivory Coast has the physicality and defensive structure to frustrate Norway, and I expect them to create chances on the counterattack. However, I believe the quality of Martin Odegaard and the finishing ability of Erling Haaland will ultimately make the difference. Norway may not dominate the entire match, but they have the players who can decide the games with a single moment of brilliance. I expect Ivory Coast to push them all the way, but Norway should just edge it. So that's my prediction for Norway versus Ivory Coast. Do you agree with my 2-1 prediction, or do you think Ivory Coast can continue their historic World Cup run? Let me know your score predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe because I'll be predicting every single World Cup knockout match. Up next, we'll be looking at another exciting round of 32 match, France versus Sweden. Be sure to check in for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.